Good day. It's it's May 3rd. This is the Episode 3 of Trash Talk. Bob Castles. I'm Bob Castles, and this is, we're going to talk about UFC Reyes versus Prochazka. Took me a minute to get that name. I'm not doing any of the other stuff. I'm not going to do one today or any of that, or PFL. I didn't watch one, or PFL. I can't watch PFL in Canada unless I have TSN, and I don't want to pay for TSN. So there you go. Unless I want to do it illegally in some fashion, which, not that I'm going to give up that, I just don't want to. Anyway, so let's get right into it. We'll start with Luke Sanders versus Felipe Colares. That was a weird one. I'd say this was pretty bad judging. I mean, it was like round one, Luke Sanders, I'd say it's a 10-8. I mean, it was borderline, maybe you could say, but under the new rules, that should be a 10-8. I mean, it really should be every time. It's like, well, when you have a fight, a round where it's like, I don't know who won, it's like, and that gets 10-9, well, then this has got to be a 10-8. Like, you have to differentiate these rounds in some manner. I mean, I honestly, the scoring system is garbage, but it is what we have, I guess. You know, if in order to change it, I mean, you got 10 points, use them. You know, 10-7s, 10-6s, those things should happen, I think. I mean, there's no reason why they can't. We need to put less stress on 1 point. You know, 1 point is it's ridiculous. It's 1 point can be the meaning, you know, the end of everything. You should be able to kick the shit out of somebody and get like a 10-6 or a 10-7 or whatever. You know, and it's just why do you have 10 points if you can't deduct them? It's silly. Either way, I think the first round was a 10-8, easy. You know, second round was. It really went back and forth on this one. It's like, I feel like there were like the second, I think, if I remember right, the second round, or was it the third, it was kind of like very even. Either way, you know, it was a good fight. I think Luke Sanders is a little old for that weight class at 35, at such a low weight class. That's tough, man. You're just starting out too. Like it's gonna be hard to get anywhere. I mean, it was bad judging. In my mind, I don't know I don't even know what they did. It is whatever. We've got to change the system. I don't think they're gonna, but there's no incentive to. But they got to change it. So we're gonna move on anyways. Whatever. We're gonna do Katie Bular and Andreas Michailidis. Bular is very technical. He's got good skills. I mean, they said, like, his teammates were saying you're too good to not fight, and that may be right, but maybe he should teach, because I don't think he's a fighter. I mean, maybe he just was having a tough day. You know, I think that was his debut. You know, maybe the jitters, whatever, but he was not. He was trying to be too technical, and especially in a fight where you're losing. You know, you got to do better. Like, you can't just keep, you know, doing the same thing for 3 rounds. It's like, dude, I get it. You think you're good, and you are, but Andreas is, I mean, maybe not as technical, but man, he was vicious. And that guy's a fighter. That guy wants to be there. He wants to fight. The other guy wants to show off his skills or something. I don't know what the fuck he's doing in there. Maybe it's just the first UFC fight jitters. You know, apparently he's beating people in Canada. You know, he's a champ in some. They didn't say in some organization up here. He's a champ. I mean, you gotta fight. You may never get another fight after that performance. So. Tough one, but moving on, Loma Lukbunmi versus Sam Hughes. This is another one of those fighter versus athlete. You know, Loma's a fighter, basically born and raised. Sam Hughes you could just tell by looking at her, she's an athlete, but she's not as skilled, and she hasn't been doing it very long. Neither one of them really, in terms of MMA, have been doing it that long. They're both 5-2, I believe. Hughes was, you know, she's just overclassed. You're not good enough. I don't even know that she should be in the UFC, but you know, the women's side of things is a little shallow sometimes, so they let things slide a little bit. As for Loma, I mean, she should have finished that fight. I think. I mean, she didn't fight smart. I mean, as good as much as I think she's a fighter, she's just not fighting smart. You know, you're a Muay Thai fighter. Where's the leg kicks? You should have kicked the shit out of her legs. Maybe you're afraid to because she's more of a wrestler, but either way, I didn't think it was a great fight for her. But she's definitely a better fighter for sure. So, Poliana Botelho versus Luana Carolina. This one was an interesting one because I mean it's one of those things where like the whole cutting weight is like sponsored cheating, and it's like and these guys and girls who miss weight and then win. It's like, and they get 30% or they get 20% of the whatever, but it's like, do they get that as the win bonus? Because I don't think they do. Do you have to give up 30% of your win bonus? Because you should. You might even should have to give up your entire win bonus. Like, I mean, I think almost in a sense, if you fight the one that missed weight, let them have both their full purses, but the one who made weight should automatically get the win bonus. I mean, you should go out there and fight if you want to, but you have no chance of getting that win bonus. I mean, maybe they wouldn't fight as much, but then so what? And in this case, who cares, right? Because I feel like Poliana was a much better fighter, but she gassed out. And maybe that was because of the weight cut. I don't know. But she gassed out, and the other one took advantage, and it is what it is. But she missed weight. And maybe if she had made weight, and it looks like she had a little bit of weight to lose, she wouldn't have won. She wouldn't have had the energy. So, who knows? I don't know. Either way. I don't like it. I think they should do something about that too. All right, Kai Kamaka versus TJ Brown. This was a good war. It was back and forth. It was terrible judging again. TJ Brown, in my opinion, shouldn't have won that fight, but he did. I don't know how they gave it to him. I really don't. I didn't see. It just looked like Kai. I think even if they looked at it, he outstruck him. He beat him on every facet of the game, and yet for some reason, I don't get it. Whatever. I mean, this judging shit is terrible. Like, well, and there's no consequences. Like, do these guys lose their jobs? They should. So, I don't know. Fucking brutal, though. That one was a bad one. That was really bad. That was, like, the worst of them, of the judging, I think, that night. I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, can we get some people who understand what the hell they're looking at? Whatever. I'm getting tired of it. Just getting tired of that shit. Randa Marcos versus Luana Pinheiro. This one was weird. This was a very weird. I mean, that Pinheiro, she's great judo. Fucking great judo. Potential star. Like, she's good looking and she can fight, but like, there's some weirdness in here. Like, I don't know that should have been a DQ. It's unfortunate for Randa Marcos. I mean, did she try to kick her, or was she trying to push her off and missed and kicked? I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know that it certainly wasn't intentional, and she can kick her in the body, so she could have just missed. I think that should have been a no contest. And as for Luana, I mean, that was weird. Is she faking it? It's tough to say. The fact that it looked like she faked it. It was like she was playing it up. And I'm like, what the fuck? But then she's like, well, did I lose? Apparently she said. I'm like, that's weird. And she was kind of questioning things, and it's like either she's really faking it, like really acting it up, or what? I don't know. That one was a weird one. Which kind of sucks because, like I said, I think she's got real potential. She looked like a killer. Fucking judo was off the charts good. She was chucking Randa around, and Randa's a good wrestler, so that was impressive. So I really like to see her again, but I mean, that was really weird. I mean, if I'm like Dana White or whatever, I'd want to get to the bottom of that one. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Are you fucked up or not? So, I don't know. Didn't look like it was that big deal. I mean, people get kicked in the face all the time. It wasn't that, didn't look that brutal. So, I don't know, whatever. Moving on to Merab Dvalishvili versus Cody Stamen. This was an interesting fight. I mean, Merab's cardio is ridiculous. That guy has savage cardio. It is brutal. I mean, it's a very back and forth fight. I don't know what the decision mean. It was a tough one. That was a tough one. I almost want to call it a draw. I think Cody in a lot of ways had the best of him, but Merab his gas tank is crazy. He almost basically beat him with cardio. Like, and I wouldn't say he necessarily did more. He just looked like he did more. Like he was always going, and Cody had to try and keep up. And I think he did a good job. But fuck, that's a tough loss. I mean, you know, unfortunately nothing much happened in the fight really. But I mean, in terms of like a finish or close to a finish or anything like that, but goddamn, his cardio is crazy good. I mean, you can beat a lot of people with that kind of cardio. So, and to beat Cody, who I think probably had the better of it, but just couldn't keep the pace up. I think that's what really killed him, not being able to pace it, keep the pace to, you know, do constant damage. I mean, I think he was doing more damage ultimately, but no, it didn't look that way. So it's a tough one. It's a tough loss too, and it's a tough one to judge too. I can't shit on the judges for that one. I mean, there's always bad judging in the sense like, oh, it was 30-27, 29-28. It's like, dude, there's no way. And I don't know not speaking particularly about this one, but a lot of fights, it's like, there's no way that guy won every round and you guys give him every round. I'm like, that's bullshit. Or one guy gives him every round. It's like, okay, so you picked the right fighter. Okay, good. We got the right guy won, but it's still this, that has to be highlighted too. It's like, you got the right guy, but you still judged it shitty. You're still a shitty judge, so let's fix this shit. But you know, there's no reason for Dana White and UFC to fix it. They have no reason to. There's no incentive for them to fix it. They make money, and I mean, there's a lot they could fix about the UFC. There's a lot they could do better, but why? There's no incentive for them to change, unless you can prove to them they're going to make exponential amounts of more money, and you have to prove. Maybe they would. Who knows? But you can't prove that. So you'd have to prove to them, it's like, no, you guys can make way more money if you did it this way. Then they'd be like, okay, if you can prove that to me, we'll changes. But until, you know, if they make all of these changes and go to all this trouble, I mean, and it doesn't net them anything, then why would they bother? There's no reason for them to even give a shit. Unless you're just a super fan, which they kind of, you know, Dana White kind of is. I mean, that's how he got started, but I think as time has gone on, he's more of a businessman. And yeah, is he a fan of fight? Sure. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. So I'm watching fights, you know, whatever. So that is what it is. Okay, Sean Strickland versus Krzysztof Jotko. I was looking forward to this one. I like Jotko, and recently I really like Sean Strickland. That guy is, he's an interesting guy. He's an interesting fighter. He's a true warrior. He is calm as can be. He's like a calm killer in there. He's no fear, none. And just constant forward pressure, not really fucking like coming at you like with speed or volume or anything, but just constantly on you. Like you step away, he's right in your face. He's not going anywhere, and it's kind of weird. Like he looks like he's there to be hit, but Jesus, his boxing is off the charts good. Like he is. I mean, I want to see him fight some more people, but like, you know, someone like, you know, what would be a really interesting one would be Darren Till, because it was striking and stuff. That would be an interesting fight to see. Because Strickland was really fun to watch. Like he just imposed his will and his game, and he just never let up, and the whole way through. I mean, that's my kind of fighter. I love that kind of shit. You know, I like Jotko too. I think he's a good fighter, and he's really skilled, but he seemed to almost afraid, very tense too. Like he wasn't really really seemed like he couldn't quite relax in there, and he was backing away, and he would just walk him down like the Terminator. He just non-stop. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna be right here in your face the whole time, and I'm not gonna ever let up. I mean, I'm not gonna. It's not like he had tons of volume, but he's just like right there, and Jocko's just trying to get away. And here's another thing with the fucking judges, man. They're fucking terrible. Like, they gave him, one of them judges gave him a round. Like, what round did he win? I mean, Sean Strickland pieced him up all three of those rounds. It wasn't even close, in my opinion. Like, I mean, he just had to look at them afterwards. Like, Jocko's face is all beat the fuck, and Strickland looks like he just walked out of a bar, like he's fine. Like, there is no way he won a round. There's no way, and you can convince me, like, that he won any of those rounds. And it's like, yeah, the right guy won and everything, that was great. But it's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's kind of like the draw that happened, like with a majority draw, which is whatever. It's like, you guys, like, one guy's got 30-27, and one guy's got fucking 29-28, and it's like, no, I don't think it was in that case. There was two 29-28s for either way, and then one draw. That actually turned out to be okay, but it was just like, I see too much of this shit. It's like, what round? Like, just tell me, what round did he fucking win? Because I didn't see it. I don't know how you can give him a round. Whatever. At least the right guy won. But it's like, in some ways, I don't think I'd give them 10-8s, but in some ways you could almost kind of could, because it's like, it was like a one-way street. You know, and part of that is Strickland just doesn't look like he's in a fight. He's like, this is nothing to me. Doesn't bother me a bit. So he is getting hit, but he doesn't look like he's getting hit. So, I mean, there's that, but there's no way he lost a round. There's no fucking way. Anyways, next is Ryan Kudalaba and Dustin Jacoby. This was the one, right? This is I mean, Ryan definitely had 10-8 the first round, without a doubt. This is the draw, I believe. And he gassed out. Jacoby took the next two rounds. I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, I was like, that was a tough one to judge. I'll give the judges that, and they kind of got it right. But it was like, I would have been like, it's either a draw or it's iron. There's no way Dustin Jacoby could win. Now, one judge had him winning, which is ridiculous, because he doesn't know what he's doing. Because there's no way you can't score the first round 10. You cannot not say that's a 10-8. He beat the fuck out of him for fucking the whole round. It wasn't even close. And those elbows were brutal. I mean, it was close to being stopped at one point. And that's when you know right there. The minute it's close to being stopped, that should be a 10-8. And in my book, maybe it should even be like a 10-7 or something like that. That's a discussion for a different, that's just, under the current scoring criteria, that's 100% a 10-8. There's no way it can't be a 10-8. It just has to be. I mean, two judges had that wrong. Because one gave 2 rounds to Kudalaba, and one gave 2 to Dustin, which he did. He won the second. The third would be a bit of a toss-up. You could go both ways on that one. I kind of lean a little towards Jacoby. But a draw was the right result. But it should have been a draw across the board. You know, unless you gave the third round to Kudalaba, which I wouldn't have been like, oh, this is robbery. It would have been okay. But I'm just sick of this judging shit. It's just fucking brutal. These guys, I mean, it's a big deal to them. I mean, they lose a lot of money when the judging is wrong. It's just not. It's not good. It's just that's why the UFC, I think, they don't necessarily see it. You know, maybe I don't know. They're gonna get people like me who are not gonna lose. They're not gonna lose money with bad judging, and they're not necessarily gonna make more with good judging. I guess I don't know. It's just wrong, though. I think you might lose quality of fighter because they're just, well, I don't think they have a choice because everywhere the judging sucks. So that's just tough. It's just wrong. Just fix it, man. Just fucking fix it. Just because it's wrong. That's good enough for me. Anyways, Yeah, I get so mad about that shit. All right, next fight, Cub Swanson versus Giga Chikadze. This one was an interesting one. I was looking forward to this one. It didn't last very long, but it was pretty cool. Like, that Giga kick is legit as fuck. Like, that guy, I mean, you could just see him digging his toes right under the ribs and into the liver. It was, it's gross. And to take out a vet like Swanson, who's probably been kicked in the liver a million times, and him, he just couldn't handle it. Like, that is serious fucking power in that kick. That is awful fucking power. That guy is sick. However, I would just slow my roll on this guy because I like Swanson. Obviously, is going to want to wrap that guy up and see how well he grapples, and I don't think it'd be good. So, I mean, it was unfortunate. Giga was lucky that I don't want to say it was a lucky hit, but he was lucky that it was as effective as it was, and that he didn't ever have to get into a grappling match with Cub, because I think Cub would have fucking tied him in knots. Though we don't know. That's the thing. He's a kickboxer. He's from Glory. He's a good kickboxer, but we don't know how good he can grapple or what's his takedown defense like. And until we know that, it's like who knows, fuck. So I'm just like I want to see him fight someone. I don't necessarily want to see him fight a wrestler. Like let's throw in there. What is it? 145. Like he was calling out. Max Holloway, man, that would be a fucking great fight. I would love to see that. He might actually, Giga might for a good chance of kicking his ass. I mean, realistically, I just don't think Giga. I mean, I think it's a little too soon for him to fight the top. Like I think Volkanovski would tear Giga apart. So unless he gets that fucking kick in there, and does the same thing. You can do that to everybody, but it's kind of like people are going to start to figure that out, right? You can't use that on everyone. You certainly can't rely on it like that. So, but it'd be interesting to see him against someone like Holloway. I mean, Holloway is there to be hit, and he's tough as nails. Or even Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar can wrestle his ass off though, so that might not work out too well for him. But that's actually a really interesting fight, and with Calvin coming off a loss and him now coming off a win, I think they're still pretty far apart in the standings. But I'd be interested in seeing that. That would be a good one, you know. And there's some other guys like, you know, Yair Rodriguez, and that would be a fun one. That would be super fun, actually. Even like a Korean Zombie or the Hormone Monster there. Is it Magomed Sharipov? Is that that name? Is that his name? What the fuck's his name? I'm fucking losing my mind. What is his name? Zabit. Yeah, Zabit, Magomed Sharipov. That would be, I heard he's retiring, which sounds crazy to me, but hopefully not. But, you know, whatever. That would be a great fight too, so whatever. I'd love to see that. Hopefully we can get something like that, but definitely looking at Giga. I've been looking at him for a bit now, and I knew him, I used to watch Glory a lot. I've seen him fight there before. But yeah, I'm totally interested in seeing that. And now we have the main event. Dominic Reyes versus Yuri Prochazka. Prochazka? Whatever. This is a fucking war. What a war this fight was. That was so brutal. I mean, Yuri is like the truest sense of a warrior. That guy is a killer. I mean, just to have that many knockouts, like he's got almost 3 times as many fights as Reyes, and he's got twice as many knockouts as Reyes has fights. Like, it's insane. This guy is a savage, like a true fucking savage. I mean, and Reyes he's a super athlete, and this is not one of those instances where it's like athlete versus warrior. It's a little bit of that, but Reyes is an athlete who can fuck people up, and man, he was feeding. Like, Yuri was taking shots that would kill a lot of dudes. Like hard. I mean, they rattled him too, but he just keeps coming. He does stuff. He looked, and at one point I'm like, man, he's gassing out. Like, but he just keeps going. He's like, oh yeah, I'm tired, but I'm going to keep fucking going until one of us is dead. And it's just like, my God, like, he never slows down. Like, Reyes is like, he just couldn't keep up. I mean, and Reyes is hitting him with some hard shit, like, as he's evading, and then he fucking pops him, and it's like, Jesus, he just eats it and keeps coming. I mean, Reyes was exhausted trying to just get away from him. And he's like, he doesn't give you any space. And he's on you constantly. And it doesn't matter what you do to him. He came out of that like, what is he made out of? Like, he wouldn't even look hurt. He didn't look damaged. I mean, 2 fights in. And, I mean, he's got a record that's impressive as it is. I mean, he's been fucking up people in other promotions for a long time, apparently. But it's his 25th knockout out of 28 wins. That's insane. That is crazy number. I don't know if anybody has that many knockouts. Certainly not with that many wins. I mean, there might be guys who might be approaching that level of knockouts, but they got way more wins and way more fights than that. This guy has, like, what is he, 28-3-1? Like, 32 fights and you have 25 knockouts? That's crazy. This guy is a savage. And he's legit as fuck. Like, I mean, Reyes is really untested. I mean, he worked his way up fast and fought John Jones in a time where he shouldn't have, and then he fights a vet like Blachowicz, and now Yuri's already. He had 1 fight and they rank him as 5th. I mean, that's how shallow the light heavyweight division is. But still, now what is he? What is he? 3rd, 2nd? Like, good lord, he's definitely 3rd at least. Like, 1 more fight, maybe even now you could give him a title fight, but he's got Teixeira and everything, he's fighting. Who's number 1? Like, was Teixeira number 1? Who's number 2? I don't even know. God damn it, like, what a terrifying human. Like, he's like Wolverine, you can't hurt him. You might hurt him for a second, but he just recovers and he just keeps coming. He's made of steel too, because he hit him hard, like a bunch of times, and he didn't even like have a black eye. I mean, he didn't even, I'd like to see him today, see if he has any bruises, but man, he had nothing. Just what an amazing fighter. And it's early, you can kind of say it's too early to tell, but is it? Because I mean, he's got this, I mean, just if you were to knock out street bums, that many street bums would be impressive. Like, this guy's knocking out professional fighters. I mean, you could say at a lower level, but the 2 that he fought in the UFC, fucked them up. So, I mean, and Reyes is a contender who, Fall has 3 losses in a row, which is brutal for him. Like, he doesn't have that long of a resume, and to lose 3 fights in a row, it's not good. I mean, I don't think he's in danger of being cut, especially in such a shallow division, but god damn it, he needs some wins in a hurry. So, I don't know, I'm worried about that, because I like Reyes, he's a really good fighter, but you got Rakic coming up, maybe he's number 2, I don't know. That's a fight. Whew. Those guys are both made of fucking iron. That guy looks like a Colossus, like he's a scary dude. So, but yeah, I don't know. Let's get this guy. I don't know if he's ready for a title fight. I mean, he's ready, but I mean, do you get his 3rd fight? He's fighting for the title. I'd love to see him against John Jones, though. I mean, it's the thing is like, could John Jones keep that guy at bay? I don't know, man. I want to see him fight some people, though. Oh, he's so fun to watch. Like, amazing. I can't wait to see that guy fight again. After his first fight, I was like, I can't wait to see this guy fight again. I want to see him fight like tomorrow. And he'd probably do it too. Psychopath. But yeah, awesome fight, and brutal war, and props to Dominic Reyes. Man, he had him hurt. He would have fucked up most people, but that guy is something. He's something. He's not human. I don't know what that guy is, but Jesus. Anyways, that's it for today, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.